Listening matters. Let me take you back to January the 3rd, 2011. I just got back from the most amazing holiday in Cambodia. I did an intrepid travel tour, had the time of my life. But now I'm back at my desk and I am frantically trying to get ready for a summer semester I need to teach the following Monday. And I've got this cough. And I can tell you what, it's annoying me. So I find a little window in my schedule and I take myself off to the GP and I say, please just give me antibiotics. I'm busy, I've got so much on. I had a teach on Monday, I can't afford to be sick. I know what I need, antibiotics. Knock this on the head so I can just get on with my life. She didn't give me what I wanted. As it turns out, I had a tumour the size of a grapefruit that was actually pushing on my left lung. And that's what was making me cough. Antibiotics weren't going to do much for that. I actually needed cardiothoracic surgery and I needed that imminently. So in a state of shock, one of the first people I rang was my boss at work to say, look, this is what's happened. I'm not going to be in on Monday, let alone teach summer semester. And do you know one of the first things he said to me was, so who am I going to give your course to then? Followed by, oh, and make sure all those teaching materials are up on the intranet before you go, won't you? An example of empathic listening? I think not. If I hadn't already been in a state of shock, that would have pushed me over the edge for sure. Then we have my mum, on the other hand. My dear mum got really upset. Understandable, of course, with the news. But now I was worried about her and how she was coping and what information I should be giving to her, and I'm filtering everything, as well as dealing with everything that I was dealing with. So that wasn't so helpful either. I had one friend, let's call him Mike. That was his name anyway. Mike went into assurance mode. You'll be fine, Nick. You've been fit and healthy up to now. You're still pretty young. Thank God you got back to Australia. Our health system's brilliant. Stop worrying so much. And although his intention was good and he was wanting to make me feel better, I actually felt worse because I felt like what I was going through was possibly unreasonable. Maybe I shouldn't be feeling this because it wasn't validated. And you know what? I was scared. But there was one friend in particular who was able to listen to me in the way that I really needed to be listened to. She was calm and she allowed me to talk, she allowed me to cry, express everything that I was feeling at the time. She didn't jump in, she didn't assure, she didn't try and fix everything at that time. She gave me that space. And yes, she was really empathic with me. But she didn't identify and get upset so that we both spiraled down together in this crying heap. She did what I later referred to as holding a listening space for me. It was almost like a sacred space that allowed me to express and be who I was, express what I was feeling, and it was validated and it was okay. And she came to be my go-to gal for that time. When I needed to talk through something, she was the person that I went to. And do you know what one of the key things about that was? It wasn't that she just listened to me, and she did listen to me. It was that I felt listened to. I felt heard, I felt validated, I felt valued. And it was that distinction which actually made all the difference. And as it turns out, as human beings, we are wired for that need. We have a deep-seated need in all of us to feel heard, to feel valued, to feel we matter. It's almost embedded in our DNA. It doesn't matter whether it's in relationships, families, school, business. It actually crosses all domains. It's universal. Do you know that one of the number one reasons employees give for leaving an organisation is that their boss didn't listen to them and they didn't feel valued? And how many times have you heard somebody say, he or she just didn't listen to me, as they explain how the relationship has just fallen down the gurgler? Listening matters. We've even heard from Nikki earlier this morning, listening can save a life. It matters. But I'm not talking about that half-hearted, pseudo-pretend type of listening that is so pervasive in society today, where we're going, yeah, I'm listening to you. It's like, no, you're not. I'm talking about deep, intentional listening, where you really are present, truly there with somebody else. And that type of listening is what I call powerful listening. And the Chinese have a specific character for listening, which I think just embodies this beautifully. The Chinese character for listening, translated into English, says, I give you my ears, my eyes, my undivided attention, and my heart. So it's a much more holistic model of listening. And it's about using all of your senses and giving somebody the gift of attention, which is so rare these days, and engaging with the heart, which is something my former boss could have learned from, I tell you. But using your ears in powerful listening is about conscious consumption of sound, as Julian Treasure would call it, the conscious consumption of sound. So it's very intentional. It's not passive. And it's about paying attention to more than just the words. It's about how somebody is expressing themselves, the pitch, the pace, the volume, the rhythm, the tone, all that nuance and subtlety that tells you so much if you pay attention to it. And all that collectively we actually call vocalics. And do you know that 38% of the decisions we make in judging somebody is based on vocalics? It really is important. And powerful listening is about listening with the eyes, all those non-verbal cues that everybody give us. And I'm not just talking about the grand gestures and whether somebody's smiling brightly or not. Again, I'm talking about the subtlety and the nuance. Has somebody's face blanched a little bit? Can you tell that they're tensed up? Is there a little nostril flare, a subtle or not so subtle raise of the eyebrow? That collectively gives you much richer information about what it is that that person is really trying to communicate with you. And if you are truly present with somebody, you can actually pick up on the energy between you as well. As biological creatures, we all emit electrical energy. We have an electromagnetic field around us. Scientists even now have proven that thoughts generate energy in wave form, and we do have that ability to pick up on it. We've all been in a situation where you've walked into a room, see two people, and you just know they've had a fight. You can feel that tension, can't you? That's that energy that we're feeling. So we do have the ability to pick up on that, and we can actually train ourselves and learn to do that more if we want to. And the last aspect of powerful listening is engaging your heart. It's actually having the courage to be compassionate and kind and see somebody else's perspective. To take a step back actually and allow somebody else to take centre stage and know that they're safe to do so. It's about pushing aside your ego, your desires, your beliefs, those tightly held opinions that you want to defend so closely, and creating that listening space for somebody else to share their tightly held views and beliefs, and to know that that's going to be okay. And if you do this, you will connect with people on a far deeper level. You will create richer, deeper, more profound relationships as you make people feel heard and really feel like they matter. And if you choose to listen with your ears and your eyes, to give somebody that gift of attention and have the courage to engage your heart, you will make a difference. Will you?